Hi, I'm Vinita and we're going to make tofu today. Tofu is easily available at supermarkets all around, so there's really no need for most people to make their own tofu. But I personally think the tofu made at home is far better because there are no additives, no preservatives, and you know exactly what's going into the tofu. What I would recommend is use non-GMO organic soybean so that your tofu can be eaten, or any other soy product can be eaten once or twice a week without any problem, and you can forget about all those soy myths which say soy isn't good for you. The important thing is which soybeans you use. So these are the soaked soybeans of which we've taken out the skin as much as possible, and we're going to transfer it to the blender. And for half a cup of soybeans, we're going to use 400 ml of water. But we're not going to use all of it at one go. We're going to do this whole process twice. So I'm going to use a bit of the water first. Also, it does a much better job grinding if you don't use all the liquid content at the first go. It's always better in a blender to not use all the water at one go. It does a better job of blending. So the soybeans have been well blended, and we're going to do the first sieve. You can use an old muslin cloth or a nut milk bag. So you'll notice there's a lot of leftover soybean which we are going to reprocess in the blender. Most of our blenders may not be able to take out all the soy milk at one go, which is why we'll repeat it a second time. So we have minimum wastage and we have maximum milk from every cup of, or every half cup of soybeans that you use. So I'm sure many of you have sieves at home, metallic sieves, and you might get tempted to use that to sieve the soy milk from the bean. But what I find is that you need a very thin sieve, and that's best achieved with a cloth. So a muslin cloth or a nut milk bag is ideal. So this is the leftover soybean that we're transferring back into the mixer. This is actually called okara, and I'm going to tell you a little bit what you can do with the leftover okara after we're done with the soybean milk. I'm adding the rest of the 400 ml that we had kept aside in the beginning. So this is the second time we've blended the soybean, and we'll sieve it once more. Another very important point which you must note, if we were making the soy milk for consumption as is, as soy milk, then we would use double the water. So here for half a cup we've used 400 ml, but because we're going to make tofu out of it, we're again going to curdle it, which is why I want it thick. So if you were using this soy milk to drink as soy milk, or have it over muesli or something where you wanted it to be much thinner, then for half a cup you would use 800 ml of water. So this is our second sieve, and you'll see that a lot more is getting through the sieve because it's more finely blended. Now this beautiful residue that we have is actually not a waste. So we can use this okara as a base for patties. You can even use it in parathas as a filler instead of potatoes or with potatoes. So it's best not to throw this away because this is not really a waste material. It's just that we don't need it for the tofu. It's very high in protein, so please make use of it. This is our thick soy milk which we are going to heat now. It needs to come to one nice big boil before we curdle it. As you can see, the consistency is lovely. It's not too thin, it's not too thick, and this is how freshly made soy milk should look. Creamy and thick. So you saw how the soy milk came right to the brim, like how regular milk, dairy milk comes to the top. That's when you know your soy milk is cooked. So if you're making just soy milk for consumption, you need to take off this frothy stuff on the top. But if you are making the soy milk for the purpose of making tofu like we are, we let the frothy stuff stay. It just results in a better consistency of the tofu. So now, since we've had the soy milk boil over, we're going to add fresh lemon juice. This is the juice of 1 lemon. Our soya milk has curdled really wonderfully with just the juice of 1 lemon. We're going to use something which is easily available in the market and it's used normally for making paneer. Here, instead of paneer, we are using it to make tofu. So we will take this, place it in the sieve, and we are going to pour out this curdled soy milk into this smaller sieve. Now this will slowly keep draining off the water for some time, and it's best to leave this for at least 4-5 hours by itself for it to set, preferably even overnight. And what really accelerates this process is to place the top on this and then use any heavy weight that you might have at home and just place it over this. So you have to find a nice cozy corner where you can leave this undisturbed for a few hours, and then it will firm up and become firm tofu. So our tofu is ready. We can use it for stir fries, we can use it for palak tofu as well as for tofu burji. You can grate it, you can slice it, make it into cubes and use it in anything that you would have used normal paneer for. Do try out this recipe. We'd love to hear how your tofu turns out and looking forward to your comments. For more such amazing simple recipes, log on to veganfirst.com. So our base for the white Makkhan, the plant-based white Makkhan is